This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's Tuesday today, which means we're doing a top 5 list, and occasionally in these top 5 Tuesdays I'll kind of step outside the normal kind of run of things where I'm usually talking about something guitar or music related, pretty much exclusively, but every now and again I like to cover other topics that sort of matter to me really. Ages ago I did me favourite comedians, what makes me laugh. Then more recently I did a 2-part series of videos about my favourite movies or films, call them what you want. And today I want to talk about, something else that matters a great deal to me, another way that I like to unwind, which is my favourite books. Now, the clue is, I've just said there, what I do to unwind. I don't read books for anything other than just escapism for the most part. There's one book in this list which arguably doesn't fit that genre, but these are all riveting good reads. So if, like me, you enjoy getting your nose into a good book on either in paper form or on your Kindle or your phone or your tablet or whatever, then here are some suggestions that I think you might like.
Red Storm Rising by Tom Clancy.
Yeah, I think Tom Clancy's best novel. It was co-written, actually, I think, with a guy called Larry Bond. And unlike the rest of the Tom Clancy sort of canon, which is all centred on the Jack Ryan universe, this is a standalone novel. It doesn't have any... the characters that appear in this novel I don't think occur anywhere else. It's set in the early 1980s with the Cold War at probably its hottest, and it's basically Clancy's vision of how a major conflict in Europe would take shape. Obviously, the protagonists are the Western Allies. Britain and the USA and, other allied states, on that side of the fence, and then on the other side it's the Soviet Union. And the strength of this book, I think, is that it's character-driven in many, many ways. You're not just reading what a character is doing and thinking, oh, well, that's a plot device to make such and such happen. The characters are believable and I think well written. Clancy doesn't often get a lot of credit for his characterizations. I think, but I think he was better at it than many people gave him credit for. And you take in the full sweep of events from what's going on inside a tank on the plains of Germany, through to there's a bunch of resistance fighters on the island of Iceland. And their story is quite gripping. What's going on under the sea in various submarines and on destroyers and frigates and stuff. So you get the kind of the foot soldiers view of what's happening, but you also get, what's happening in the corridors of power, both in the Kremlin and the Pentagon as well. And it's just this huge sweeping yarn that's told, sometimes in little bits of flashback and so on, but you never lose track of what's going on. It is an utterly gripping read, and as one of the reviews said when I was picking, when you read the reviews on the back cover of a book, there was one reviewer who said, read the first chapter, I dare you won't be able to put it down. And that is very much my experience of this book, so it had to be on this list. Next,
Sleepyhead by Mark Billingham.
Yeah, a rollicking good detective yarn. It could have been any of Mark Billingham's Tom Thorne series of books. Tom Thorne is the main character. He's a detective inspector with Metropolitan Police. And in many ways it is a little bit of a cliche. He's a maverick, he's a rebel, he doesn't play by the rules. All the kind of usual things that you get in, in these kind of kind of crime solver genres, but it is so much more than that. I like to describe Mark Billingham's books they're about this guy called Tom Thorne, who happens to be a police officer. You know, you get his full kind of life. You get his friendship with Phil Hendricks, the what they call him, the guy who does the autopsies. That's not the coroner, is it? But you know, the medical examiner, I guess you'd call him. Their unorthodox friendship. You know, again, the characters in this book are well rounded, and I could have easily chosen any of the Mark Billingham, Tom Thorne books, but this was the first one in the series. Came out in 2001, and if you're unaware of this character or this author, then start with this one and work your way through the series. Absolutely gripping. New characters come along as we go along through the series of books, but this book here kind of introduces you to the core cast of characters that occur in all of the books, and it's just a well written, well plotted narrative, as I say, with characters that are likeable and believable. So you know, if you like crime fiction, then this one's well worth checking out. Next,
The Hard Way by Mark Billingham.
Yeah, a different Mark Billingham this time. I actually discovered this book when I was on Amazon searching for a new book by the previous Mark Billingham. This Mark Billingham, let's call him Billy because that is, I believe, how he prefers to be known. He's an ex-SAS soldier, and he's appeared in a few of the kind of TV shows based upon SAS selection. You know, and I just kind of saw his name, as I say, as I was searching for a crime novel by the previous Mark Billingham, thought, oh, that's that guy off that show on TV, and I took a chance, and it is an absolutely riveting read. It is basically his autobiography, and it tells of how he, as a young kid, a little ne'er-do-well, tearaway, headed for probably a life of crime. He got into boxing, and from boxing that sort of gave him the discipline that he needed. He discovered something he could channel himself into, basically, and then army cadets, then army, then selection for special forces. And he doesn't talk about his career in the special forces because a lot of that is kind of stuff he's not allowed to talk about, basically. But then he leaves the service and goes on into bodyguarding work and becomes very friendly with the likes of Tom Cruise and Sean Penn and Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, and when I say friendly with, he is, after working as security for these people, he, in a lot of cases, he maintained personal links with them, and I believe he has, some kind of business venture with Sean Penn, if I can remember correctly from this book. They went into some kind of business venture together. I may be wrong on that. Read the book and you'll find out, but the overriding thing about this book is you can see there that Bear Grylls on the little sticker on the cover there describes this book as inspirational, and that is entirely what it is. It would be so easy for a guy who's started from such humble beginnings and gone on to be mixing with the likes of Tom Cruise and so on, to be, very much the I am. Look at me, the big sort of, the big cheese. It's not like that at all. The overriding message from this book is, I can do it, you can do it too. This is how I did it. And, whatever, whether you're kind of interested in a career in the military or whatever field you want to, you want to be successful in, reading this book will be, I'll guarantee it, a roadmap to, well, maybe not to success because nothing is guaranteed in life, but it is certainly, some valuable tips in there. So I can't praise this book highly enough. The Hard Way by Mark Billingham, not to be confused with Mark Billingham, the previous author. Yeah, had to be on the list, this one. Next.
The Lincoln Lawyer by Michael Connolly.
Yes, do you remember the days when you used to, kind of have a wander up to your local Blockbuster store and see what was on offer there. And I think we'd just got a DVD player. Back those heady days when when you'd walk over to the DVD section rather than the VHS section in Blockbuster, and just reading the back of the cover on this one. Okay, sort of crime novel, kind of told from the perspective of the defence lawyer. Yeah, okay, there's nothing much on TV tonight. We'll take a chance on this one. So, kind of rented it, bought the usual kind of bag of Doritos and dip and, the tub of Haagen-Dazs and everything, as you did when you visited Blockbuster. Got this home, and what a riveting movie it was. And I've often said when I did that list about my favourite films, it's like often a good film comes from a bad book, and often a good book makes a bad film. Not the case here. The book is excellent. It introduces you to the character Mickey Haller, the Lincoln lawyer, so called because he doesn't have an office. He does all of his business with a briefcase and a mobile phone from the backseat of his Lincoln town car. And he's a slippery defence lawyer, but he's good at his job, and he gets hired to defend a young kind of yuppie type guy who's been accused of a crime that he maintains his innocence of. And well, it's quite a twisty plot, I'll tell you that much. Is this guy innocent? Isn't he? If he is innocent, does the lawyer kind of manage to prove it? If he's not innocent, there's lots of ins and outs and twists in this, but it keeps you going. And this was the book that introduced me to Michael Connelly as an author, and I've devoured all of his output ever since. If you're looking for all of his characters are kind of encapsulated in the same universe. The Mickey Haller character is I think the half brother of the detective Bosch, who is in a lot of the other novels, and of course has been made into an Amazon Prime show. So yeah, I mean, watch the movie, watch the Amazon Prime show about Detective Bosch, but more than anything else, read the Michael Connelly books, and this was the one that introduced me to his wonderful writing, and I had to recommend it on this list. Next,
In Pale Battalions by Robert Goddard.
I saved the best till last. My favourite author by a country mile, Robert Goddard. He's not as well known as he should be, but hopefully me publicising this book here in my little YouTube channel will do something to redress that balance. He's one of those authors that yes, it's fiction and it's mystery and it's romance and it's historical and there's crime involved, but it's not any one of those particular genres. Remember I was saying earlier on about characters. It's the characters and their lives and how those lives create situations that emerge that keep you engrossed. Basically, the plot behind this one is it's set during the First World War, and that large parts of the book are told in flashback, set in that First World War period, and then coming back to the present day. The present day in this book is the late 1980s, because that's when the book was written. And it's just a gripping story of romance, history, murder, and just a really, really well-plotted narrative that is utterly gripping. I can't recommend this book highly enough. If you're thinking, I don't like romantic novels, it's not all kind of slushy romantic stuff, but it is there. There is romance in the plot. Same if I'm not into historical novels. Well, it's set at a point in time, and that's when the majority of the occurrences take place. But as I say, it's just a character-driven novel, and it's the lives of these characters that keep you engrossed and kind of wondering what the mystery is, what the big dark secret. That's something that Robert Goddard excels at. Is kind of there's a big guilty secret in somebody's past that that they'll do anything to keep quiet. And there's a little bit of this in this book as well. It's a fascinating, entertaining, beguiling, intriguing, gripping read. Have I sold it enough to you yet? Go out and read it. You will. I promise you will enjoy it. So there you go, folks. Those are my probably my 5 favourite books. Certainly, they are ones that I've read multiple times. You know, I like. I think reading a good book is like listening to a great album. You know, if it's if I enjoyed it once, then I'll enjoy it multiple times. Maybe not kind of, getting to the last page and starting again at the beginning, but maybe a year later I'll think, oh, I haven't read that one in a while, and I'll go back and revisit it. And all of the books on this list are definitely ones that I've done that with. So there you go, and that is the video for today, folks. Hope you found it entertaining and informative in some small way, and if you have, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday 5 p.m. UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars, amongst many other things. Great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.